Well, it's time, once again, to react to another CinemaSins video. That's right, and yep, you read the title of which CinemaSins video I'm reacting to. That being Everything Wrong with Bumblebee in 22 minutes or less. Yeah. So yeah, the Bumblebee movie. This is like, the Bumblebee movie is, without a doubt, and everybody would agree, one of the only, best Transformers films. And, right next to, I think, say, the very first live-action Transformers film, from 2007, and also the animated Transformers film, from the 1980s. But yeah, Bumblebee, and, I always, thought that, this has to be, the beginning of, a new, Transformers, film franchise, and, not being canon to, the live-action Transformers films that Michael Bay was heavily involved with, you know what I'm saying? And, yeah, apparently so, and it's totally obvious that it is a reboot, and one of the first comments of this video, and I'm looking at it, a commenter says that, yeah, that they confirm that Bumblebee is a reboot, and it is not connected to the Bay movies. Yeah. So that's good, and especially, well, two things. One, it's hard to believe that Paramount would quickly reboot the Transformers films, a year after the last Michael Bay Transformers movie, with Mark Wahlberg and Anthony Hopkins, The Last Night, I think, yeah, that's the title of it. A year after that came out, we got this, and, the beginning of something new for the Transformers in, the movie industry. And, yeah, and also, too, about the last Michael Bay Transformers film, The Last Night, they mentioned that Bumblebee, and according to Anthony Hopkins' character, Bumblebee had been on Earth even before he met Sam, Shia LaBeouf's character, because Bumblebee had served in World War II, apparently. So, yeah. And for this, the Bumblebee movie, Bumblebee first arriving at Earth in the 1980s, because we see in the Bumblebee movie that, the Autobots' homeworld, it's being attacked, and the war, on, oh my gosh, I forgot the name of their home planet. I'm so sorry. Just forgive me, but just, I hope it pops in my head. Heck, if it's mentioned in the video, I hope so. I'm gonna shoot myself for forgetting. You have those moments, But anyways, Cybertron! Jeez Louise! Cybertron. I'm pretty sure I'm getting that right. Cybertron, yeah. So we see that in the Bumblebee movie. And I'm pretty sure, we did see bits and pieces of it in the Michael Bay Transformers films. Maybe, I can't remember. But I'm pretty sure, because in the last Michael Bay Transformers film, The Last Night, Optimus, he finds the wreckage of the Autobots' home planet, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Cybertron. But anyways, so yeah. For me, I really enjoyed the Bumblebee movie. And of course, I did a review on it, if you want to go check that out. Yeah, and thus, more Transformers movies say, Rise of the Beasts. Now, Rise of the Beasts, I'm pretty sure, because, yeah, it did pretty well, but still, it got, negative reviews, it got heavily mixed, But come on, is it that bad, Alright, but anyways, and I'm pretty sure that, yeah, for the Bumblebee movie, I'm pretty sure I saw there are those that thought it was okay, but definitely there are those like myself that really enjoyed this, because it's so good. It's such a great Transformers film. All right, so with all that being said, we shall begin. I do have a snack with me, just so you know, as I sometimes do. All right, so without further ado, let's see what CinemaSins has to say and sin on the Bumblebee movie. And also, you know, with the outtakes that they do, I look forward to what they're going to do in the outtakes, you know, audio clips that they're going to do. Those are always fun, you know? So, anyways. All right, so we'll start the video in 3, 2, 1, play. All right, let's see what you got for us, CinemaSins.
45 seconds of logos. And Cybertron looks an awful lot like a matte painting of Tron, superimposed over a matte painting of Coruscant. The Iron City vibes all over.
Of course.
Sorry, boss.
I was right, Cybertron.
Also, in an opening scene that is
and thank you, video.
Computer graphics, the staging of this action is even more egregious than usual. This is a controlled environment where concern for safety is out the window, along with covering up stunt doubles and bad takes. And they still cut this like assholes. I believe the look of
now the CG is fantastic.
Here is that just like the audience, he too can't figure out the difference between the Decepticons and the Autobots in these movies.
I found a planet that's well hidden. Earth.
Why is Earth well hidden? And why are you showing a giant hologram of it in front of the enemies who can see it?
You must protect the planet. If the Decepticons
something about Peter Cullen.
People are truly finished.
I'll talk about later.
So if the Decepticons find it, then all the other Autobots can just find somewhere else to go, right? Like you assholes couldn't have blown this tower up a lot sooner. Waited so long to do it that you allowed the plot to happen. And I cannot forgive that. As I watch Optimus Prime run on the top of this tower in which nothing around it is visible, I'm wondering, how did he know there was a Decepticon flying by right now that he could jump onto? In case you can
well, he would have, you know.
Did this dude in the very back of the formation need to use the Hulk signal? Who's he telling to Hulk here? Bumblebee crash lands into Earth like a bomb, but was no more effective at killing these guys than the paintballs they're using earlier. Also, in all the paintball training camps
and paintballs can be painful if you don't have gear.
For Autobots to enter a planet and crash landing into it.
Would someone please explain to me why you dropped napalm on your own guys?
Come on, this guy knows that wasn't napalm, right? If you've been in the military as long as this character's
yeah,
you know
he should have known that wasn't them.
Man, why didn't you just do this before? Optimus said that Earth was well hidden, but
he crashed, so
3 minutes after Bumblebee crashes to the planet. So either Optimus really did fuck up by showing that hologram earlier, or he's a lying piece of. The movie wants us to believe that Blitzwing takes the time to brand the missiles on the fighter jet he transforms into. Also, how does he have missiles? Where are those stored when he's running around in Decepticon form? Right. Man, you had 10 other valuable seconds to tell everyone to run, and you waited until the Decepticon is about to fire missiles to warn everybody. This is the most worthless run command since the time I spent all day incorrectly copying that free program from Compute's Gazette on my Commodore 64. I'll never talk. Blitzwing gives us the Bumblebee voice box origin story, but inexplicably throws him down a mountain, only to grab him again to explain why he's going to kill him. Hey Bob, did you hear what sounded like 2 giant alien robot machines blowing each other the f*** up somewhere nearby? Yeah, but it's fucking lake day, man, and I have one rule, never be curious. Where's breakfast? My question is, why did you brush your teeth just before breakfast? During Charlie's introduction, you had to endure 90 seconds.
Anybody would, I guess.
Big Mouth strikes again, and now she's about to eat some Mr. T cereal. So I guess this is the hipster version.
Insert Pee Wee Herman.
As sugary as the wedding singer, just as bad for your teeth.
Can you drop
you know the joke.
On your way to work, please? I could if I had a car.
From the moment Charlie walked in, everything about this scene has felt wrong. While the family is probably still recovering from Charlie's dad's death, and it's still awkward, it appears that new family roles have started today for no reason. Then Charlie's mom inexplicably asked her to drop her brother at karate, but Charlie has no car. It's like this family is meeting each other for the first time just this morning. I get the whole putting a phallic-shaped food item in your mouth can be sexy, but a corn dog? I guess if I wasn't circumcised. What? Charlie works at a place called Hot Dog on a Stick. And I'm wondering why this place has the policy of making their only worker manning the booth deliver food to customers halfway across the fairgrounds. I'm guessing probably because the awkward hijinks they keep up. I'm wondering more for business reasons.
Also,
usually a girl shows her proficiency at cars by knowing something that a certified mechanic doesn't know. Cliche. Hey, they really laid on the B imagery thick in this movie. Shocking, they missed the chance to have Charlie eating Cheerios instead of this Mr. T cereal. Chance encounter where Haley Steinfeld meets Jerry Seinfeld, saying one of the many hilarious lines from. I can't remember because there are so many. Also, how exactly did
their last names are Seinfeld?
Volkswagen Beetle. Everything about him was failing after Blitzwing fucked him up, and he was still able to transform. It somehow works.
Yeah. Also, Charlie.
I wouldn't shatter, just go where they sent Blitzwing.
I wonder if she probably applied to work at the fair while it's in town.
So Charlie just happened to turn on B when these two two assholes were torturing Cliffjumper on fucking Saturn, and twisting a sword in his chest gave them a clear
Oh yeah,
Saturn
Saturn.
knew it was bees just by hearing it. And why the shit is this guy one of Saturn's moons anyway? Did Optimus give him the same bullshit speech he gave to Bumblebee, only about Saturn?
I've got to see what happens to Alf this week.
Who the says this? Doesn't everybody who watches a show say, I want to watch insert title of show here tonight? And seriously, why does Alf seemingly always appear when a movie goes back to the 80s? Alf fucking suck. Wait a minute, if Charlie has a Polaroid of her and her dad, then what is this picture here? Did she convert the Polaroid into a standard picture size?
There are those that like Alf.
In 1987.
If I get it started, I keep it, and I work here every day for a year.
Out of all the movies I thought Bumblebee would steal from, pay homage to, Christine was not one of them. But here we are. 1, 2, 3 Haley Steinfelds. Well, she always said that she was going to love herself and didn't need anybody else.
I heard every time.
Oh, jeez. I was kind of thinking that there might be an ad, but, you know. Okay, here's the thing, because I was saying, like, the movie never establishes this, and I'm not sure, like, they're not even, well, so far, like, the narrator has not said anything about this, and probably won't, but Charlie, like, working at, like, the carnival, like, town fair, I want to say, like, I mean, like, for it being, I don't know, because it, like, is it there permanently in San Francisco, or just, you know, like, the fair coming into town, if you get what I'm saying, and Charlie applied to work there, you know, volunteered or something. I don't know if you get what I'm saying, but again, like, the movie never establishes that, so you know, just saying. Yeah, and also, like, Peter Cullen, you know, there's something about Peter Cullen when he did the voice of Optimus Prime in this movie. It's very unfortunate for him, but I'll talk about that after I react to this, you know, talking about my thoughts and so on. All right, so continuing by skipping the ad.
Charlie, what was that noise?
There's no way that Bee knew that someone else was walking into the garage in time to convert into the Beetle before they saw him. She didn't even hear the Transformer noise. And look, I know we're in a hyper-realized world. I just choose not to accept it. Also, what exactly did Charlie do when she fixed Bumblebee? Sure, she made the car run, but did she also help him with all that near-death damage we saw him take earlier?
Well,
You sound like a little Bumblebee.
It really doesn't, but roll credits. This movie has two scenes of people refusing to move when a large flaming object is flying right at them from the sky. Also, this gas station clearly has an identity crisis. Here the sign says gas and guzzling, but the sign above the station says guzzling and gas. Seriously, these asshole Transformers need to find a better way to land on
I never noticed that.
Just crashing. Sure, these are Decepticons, but this could have easily been Bumblebee or any number of good Transformers crashing down and killing lots of people. If they were just going to do this, then why were they ever in car form?
How underwhelming.
Alien race comes down to Earth, sees like 10,000 square feet of area, and declares it to suck. Cliché.
Indigenous life is even more primitive than I expected.
What exactly are they basing this on? Sure, Roy doesn't appear to be anyone's definition of a winner, but they haven't spent the last 2 minutes with him hearing him griping about how Grounded for Life's sister wouldn't sleep with him. You'd think even robots would know you have to take in a greater sample size of life forms before judging.
B-127's distress signal came from the western coast of this continent.
Why we couldn't just land there instead of the middle of nowhere Bumford? That's the mystery of Transformers. Anyway, glad we killed that cheating redneck. Let's get some pork rinds and hit the road. I guess strictly because Transformers were never a toy or cartoon in this universe where Transformers are actually real, GoBots are king. In this universe, Michael Bay makes terrible GoBot movies. The point is, I think the success of GoBots in this universe is a definite sin. Also, fellow amusement park employee and potential love interest lives next door to Charlie because movie.
Mom took it.
Yeah.
Try to bring Conan to the vet and Ron needed the station wagon.
So many things are f***ed up about this scene. Her mom just steals Charlie's car literally minutes before she wakes up, and she didn't have time to ask Charlie about it. Meanwhile, Ron is enjoying breakfast with Otis, but the second Charlie walks out into the garage, he's already halfway to the station wagon, even though he in no way looked like he was about to go out the door. And neither of these two dicks even bothered to tell Charlie about her car till she discovered it missing. Furthermore, this is a classic what did they do before Charlie bought a car scenario. You mean this asshole Ron couldn't take his wife's dog to the vet on the way to whatever he needed to do with that station wagon? This whole scenario was manufactured to create conflict. Charlie parks her scooter in the middle of the road and, after a stupid discussion with her mom, gets in the car to drive and leaves the scooter just sitting in the road as a hazard or a free bite for anyone who's feeling really steely today.
Did you put that robot
Yeah.
away?
Christina Hodson conveniently recycles dialogue from her unproduced robot porn script, I, Robot, to Jane.
Two of them just made contact in Texas. Intel says they're heading west fast.
We're going to Texas.
Why Texas? Didn't he just tell you that they were in Texas and they were heading west fast? Maybe you want to investigate whatever they did in Texas, but They aren't there anymore, are they? It was sometime at night when the Decepticons got here, right? And they immediately headed west fast, according to the military. Even figuring Texas's huge size, wouldn't they be farther than this by now? None of this makes any sense.
B-127 signal's gone silent.
If B's
Doesn't
signal's
matter.
gone silent, what were you planning to do when
Doesn't
you
bother
hit the
me.
West Coast, which encompasses California, Oregon, Washington, British Columbia, Yukon, and Alaska? Why haven't you discussed this with your partner already? And stupid to say, because you're talking just as loud as Shatter, and these guys can hear every word you're saying. What the was this guy expecting his robot dog to do here? Optimus is about to get surrounded anyway, so what's the goddamn point of using your attack dog? In the end, these movies are exactly what the Transformers the movie was, a long advertisement for toys.
Why would you play this?
Because how else is the audience supposed to remember you threw out your diving trophies, and that diving will be important in this movie later? Just how deep into 1987 are we here? Appetite for Destruction came out in July 1987. Nobody really cared about it until the next year. In Excess's Kick album came out in October
The
of
Smiths.
1987. The Smiths' Strange Ways Here
Yeah.
was released in September.
The
I
Smiths
grant you it's
rank.
Possible she has those albums in whatever month this is 1987. But wait a minute. Can we see that Alf episode they were watching? I remember this episode vividly. It was called You Ain't Nothing But a Hound Dog. And it aired February 29th, 1988. Could time have passed from 1987 to 88 since we last saw a year on the screen? Yes. Am I sinning this? Yes. Trying to clearly fix a tape from the bottom middle column of this box, and it's going to be Rick Astley. But earlier, there was no Rick
There's always
Astley
going to be
column.
goofs in movies.
The song that plays is Never Gonna Give You Up, which is the Alf of 1980s music references.
I used to listen to this while we were in a Corvette.
Father and daughter used to listen to
Bumblebee rickrolled us.
I don't think so. Anyway, at least they weren't making pottery.
If we tell them no, they'll just take their technology to the Russians instead.
Dr. Bumblebee, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Transformers. Also, I'm not sure which part of this is more insane.
I get that reference.
Powell thinks the Decepticons can be trusted enough to use America's satellite systems, or that they would have any fucking knowledge of the U.S.'s issues with Russia.
You really want to go down in history as a man who caused us the Cold War?
Because going down as the man that allowed the planet to be turned over to alien robots is so much better on a resume. Dude, I definitely believe working up the courage to ask the neighbor girl out is a thing, but just barging into her home? Who fucking does that? Especially when they're worried any stupid thing they do might blow their chance.
No one can know what you just saw.
Actually, with the lack of boundaries her own family exhibits throughout this movie, I wonder how they haven't heard strange noises and investigated, or simply just walked in on her talking to her alien robot car. The movie is treating her mom's near miss like a one-time thing.
No one can know what you just saw. You promise?
Yeah.
Power of boners will allow many secrets to be kept, and also give one the ability to nut their pants when a car turns into a giant robot in front of them.
Combining our technology seamlessly. Satellites, phones, computers. They're creating an interconnected web of information.
While public use of the internet as we know it didn't happen until 1989 or so, surely Dr. Powell knows that the technology he's so excited about right now is already possible. This is like Paul Rudd getting excited about time travel when we know his 26-year-old self keeps traveling a year into the future to kill his older self and take his place.
It's revolutionary.
Maybe this is the best Transformers movie since the first one, or possibly period, but I'm still sitting the fact that they couldn't resist infecting this with yet another version of Agent Simmons.
You notice that about Paul?
Could we just stop
And
trying
that's
to
kind of
make
like what I said, you know?
comedian a thing in this movie?
You're trying to teach yourself
Best Transformers movie since the first one, you know.
All these specific songs are playing on a radio station when he needs them to be. I mean, I guess it's possible that he's just playing songs from some 1980s iTunes library. But if that's the case, I don't know why the radio dial has to move to certain stations for him to speak. If you had told me this movie started off as a cheap Greg Louganis biopic and some Hollywood...
Nah, this was
said,
an
"But we can make
emotional
a
scene
Transformers
here
movie out of it," I would
for her.
believe you.
This car is an embarrassment. You should have your dad buy you a better one. Okay. Sorry.
Movie didn't have enough conflict
She
with Transformers
went there.
because they're humans, so I'm glad it
How
decided to
dare
add
you,
some
lady.
Cena and Charlie jabbing for good measure.
And she rightfully so deserved
Told me in
that.
this car for an alarm to go off? Stop the car, please. You're telling me this car is only going 35 miles per hour at the time memo says this? If so, why did the cop clearly see them going well over 60 here? This movie is thankfully less than 2 hours, something that the other 17 Transformers movies didn't have the restraint to do. But with the Charlie doesn't dive scene, wanton destruction of private property, and speeding scenes this movie includes, we could have shaved about 20 minutes off this puppy too.
After what happened last night, pretty sure the cops were looking for you.
This also means, I guess, she never registered this car, because cops should be able to find it strictly through that. But why worry about license and registration in a movie like this, right, Bumblebee? Am I supposed to believe that Charlie thinks he can eat the Pop-Tart and or needs to eat? Because because if so, she's just been letting him starve this whole time. Movie doesn't know how to dog since there's no way.
But the dog gets the Pop-Tart.
Homebound hijinks. Does this movie ever actually get to Bumblebee? Bee crashes into
Yeah, and
his
what was
TV
Bumblebee
somehow
thinking?
starts playing without anyone turning on the system or the TV itself. And while this family has a never-ending budget to buy all the latest albums, they somehow haven't upgraded to an NES yet. This is basically the E.T. gets drunk scene in E.T. Except Charlie
Exactly.
science class and doesn't get to kiss Erica, a Laniac. I'm just going to point out here that the Decepticons' plan to take all our technology to find Bumblebee would have turned up nothing if he didn't suddenly get the urge to snoop around Charlie's house and stick his finger in an electrical socket. Also, I know that what's robot got to do with it told her partner that Bumblebee's signal was off, but since we've seen him fire up a hologram and he's constantly using the radio to find a way to communicate, if that didn't give off a signal, what did?
That.
You gotta come home right now.
Charlie felt like it was such an emergency, she made sure to change out of her work clothes before leaving.
About your car that you spend all day and night shut in that garage doing God knows what with?
What is Charlie's mom accusing her of exactly?
Yeah.
The darkest nights produce the brightest stars.
It's never got
And
me
what
laid.
Charlie said, she had a point
It has to.
Tell us where Optimus Prime is hiding.
about her parents her family just kind of giving her time for no reason.
Went through a whole bunch of just to ask Bumblebee the same questions. He's way more unlikely to answer than the last dude was.
No, when I was going through puberty, I stole things too.
Ron.
Let go of me!
Sure.
I'm touching my foot off!
Hilarious line for sure, but her hands are nowhere near where you say they are. As a kid of the
Yeah,
80s,
I kinda
can
noticed
tell you
that.
with utmost certainty that no one had a fucking poster of John Carpenter's The Thing. The movie didn't do well and wasn't even talked about until many years later.
But-
no one watched it, no one talked about it.
But Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Bumblebee's still alive, that's where they're keeping him.
Well, good thing you walked over to Memo's.
Oh, and I see the fourth Doctor in the background. You know, Doctor Who.
Also, movie expects us to believe
I never noticed that until now.
Just be hanging out in his room watching the fucking news.
That's cool.
Why is it his last chance? I expect
But at this
his
point,
someone from
like,
space to give you another lead
I
so you
think-
can fruitlessly torture some other Autobot about the rebel base.
think,
You sure this is
yeah, Sylvester
Oh,
McCoy,
sure, this base holds the first
at the
known
time being the
existence of
Doctor,
alien life,
the
but
setting of
nobody's
this
really
movie.
regarded it, despite the news telling us earlier that a ton of military people were coming to Brighton Falls for some unknown reason. You'd think they'd have enough personnel for this simple task, but you'd be wrong. Holy, they got into the most highly classified area of the base, too? We missed the scene where Charlie and Memo iced a bunch of America's finest soldiers?
Eh.
Lucky Death Kick is lucky.
We will fight on. Regroup, rebuild.
Why does this recording even exist, other than to give the Decepticons and Charlie an easy way to learn what's going on? Optimus told Bee everything before he sent him off to Earth. Did Optimus have a what if Bee loses his memory after a fight with Blitzwing and John Cena backup plan in place?
I am coming. Prime is
I don't know.
here.
Probably did something before the
It's gonna
battle.
get messy. Quick, call in the Bukake experts. Also, Dropkick, Prime won't be here until the sequel. Sure, in the actual 80s, he would have been in this movie, but it's the 2010s, and we've got film universes, and these things have to be spaced out so we can bitch on Twitter about it.
We'll burn the whole planet to cinders.
And we'll be sure to kill Dr. Powell as soon as he gets done radioing this to John Cena. So I see no problem
Yep.
talking about this out loud.
He's all yours.
Why is Powell here alone? I get that they were giving Shatter and Dropkick access to the satellites to find B, but there's no way they wouldn't always have a group of soldiers with them. Shatter and Dropkick didn't hear this.
No, they didn't.
This scene would be 100% more effective if I wasn't aware that there were 5 god-awful Transformers movies that take place after this, and Bumblebee is all over that. I see Bumblebee went to the iRobot school of eye color changing when going from good to bad that I've heard so much about. Also,
And Iron Giant?
He nearly died and got
Like,
shot by a bunch of electrical guns.
eh.
He suddenly got all his powers back. Agent Burns survives this. He goes on this super rampage of blowing shit, but manages to not kill one person, thereby keeping his good guy status. This is like that scene in T2 when Arnold Schwarzenegger fires a bunch of grenades at the cops at Cyberdyne and purposely misses just enough not to kill anyone, but all an accident.
If the Decepticons find Earth, then our people are truly finished.
Yes, but the Decepticons only realized that Earth was important because of this very message. They didn't know Earth was the new base until Dropkick, Bumblebee, a
Dropkick.
hologram of you popped up. 3 Decepticons so far have found Earth, but it meant nothing. Sorry for the trivialities here, but what Optimus really meant was that the Decepticons learned that Earth was the new base, it would be bad.
I'll go on and buy some time with these guys.
Oh, wait, what?
There appears to be a high-speed chase underway.
Now he's showing his feelings to her.
This movie has more convenient newscasts than Happy Death Day and Die Hard 2 combined.
Was radical.
We'll save you the vomit that occurs right after this.
Yeah.
We sure should have. Also, not to be outdone by the Fast and Furious
the vomit.
Next summer, we'll get the Otis and Ron movie, where they get called in by the government for no logical reason to help them stop a scientifically enhanced former government agent played by Jaleel White.
Prepare satellites to transmit our message.
Sure, Bumblebee gets his power turned on briefly and his signal immediately goes to Saturn. These dicks have to waste a bunch of time with an Earth satellite to transmit a message to their own people. This dumpster is made of the same material as the refrigerator in the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. I'm sure
Oh my gosh.
See, the blue one kicked the yellow
You
one.
had to mention that?
Slammed into the thing, so we'll carry the 1 minus the 5.
There's a difference.
Yep, definitely don't know.
The explosions.
If impossibly avoiding flying debris is a skill, Charlie has it in spades. It's at this point that I'm reminded that the Decepticons were given permission to take over phone lines and satellites to create the internet and find Bumblebee. And while that basically did nothing to help them find him, having control over those satellites would have been amazing for them to transmit this message. I'm not quite sure why they couldn't just tap into that technology again, instead of waiting for a slow-ass radio tower to do it for them. But that's your typical third act bull for you. Also, this hyphen and percent bothers me. It bothers me a fucking lot. Also, again,
Why?
when they went to Earth, did they not tell any of their superiors that's where they were going? After the first one that came down to kill Bumblebee died, it's crazy they haven't sent more Decepticons down here after Shatter and Dropkick located Bee's signal. All I have to shoot are bullets right now. I mean,
I think, yeah, they were going to, I think.
If they had just made Charlie a former gymnast instead of a diver, this sequence becomes at least 67% more believable. I wish writers realize that sometimes it's the little things that matter most. Oh, there's my missile. Sorry about the bullets earlier. I mean, you fired on us earlier, probably killed some of my men, but I guess we're cool now. High five. Shatter jumps down from the top of the tower and then transforms into a jet.
Bumblebee saved him.
Stay in your robot form and slice Charlie up instead of impotently staring at her in jet form. And Shatter somehow thinks that she's going to shoot Charlie when there's vulnerable communication equipment here that she needs and could destroy. But why do anything smart when we need Bumblebee to save the day? This entire finale reminds me of Iron Man 3. You could splice scenes from it into this one.
Oh yeah, because they're construction site. Yeah.
Thank God Charlie's diving finally pays off. The movie could have simply not put diving in this at all, but why do that when you could make your movie stupid?
This was the moment for her to dive and to save Bumblebee.
By the way, what exactly does Charlie do to get Bumblebee out of here? He's clearly still alive and needs no assistance. Not like she could have pulled him out of the water herself, so she dove for no fucking reason. Hey, soldier!
Well...
Everyone driving
Oh,
sees
come
this.
on.
Charlie could have tried a more secluded spot for this farewell.
Thank you
So much.
for giving me my voice.
Where the f*** did he find all those talk shows at the same time to make a coherent sentence? He's been communicating exclusively through song.
Because he's Bumblebee.
Talk show jackpot at whatever time this is. But I guess everyone else will, because I have no fucking clue why the government is shocked when these things show up again in 2007. I was really
It's a reboot.
What's his name again?
Old friend, you kept this planet safe.
Did he though, Optimus? Did he though? Does no one watch the sky?
Yeah, technically.
And when all these assholes land, won't this get detected by the Richter scale?
136 sins.
I am the Martian ambassador. We come in peace.
Ack ack.
What's your trouble, Larry? That's why your sales are always behind quota. Your instinct to eat is stronger than your
The
instinct to
outtakes. What's this one gonna be?
Charlie, don't surf!
There it is! There's the dented beetle!
Oh, I should have let you die, Grenada.
I was there. Pathetic Grenada. I saw it all go down at Grenada.
Fisher jumping today, huh, Dano?
Offer me money. You two promise me that. Offer me everything I ask for.
General Kenobi, years ago you served my father in the clone.
Makes sense.
Now he begs you to help him in his struggle against the Empire.
That's it? Like, oh my gosh, not that many outtakes. And I only got one, and that being the last one. Help me, Obi-Wan, you're my only... Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're my only hope. Jeez, like, ugh. And that, again, makes sense because of a hologram and a message, like, you know. Alright. Wow. Yeah, that was pretty good. You know, CinemaSins, again, you know, the videos that CinemaSins do, they are for laughs. But yeah, because stuff that they point out and so on, yeah, it's true, but still, these videos are for laughs. I don't know how many times I have to say that. So, anyways. Alright, so, with that being said, jump cut to my thoughts now. Hey guys, so that was my reaction to the CinemaSins video of everything wrong with Bumblebee in 22 minutes or less. So yeah, again, as I said, I thought it was pretty good. And again, because, you know, the CinemaSins videos, they are for laughs, even though with, yeah, things that they point out, yeah, you get the point, just, you know. Yeah, so what they send on and talked about in the Bumblebee movie, yeah, because, you know, understandable. In fact, because, like, you know, like, how they would not have, you know, picked up anything from Bumblebee, you know, like, when he was using the radio, or, you know, he spawned, you know, the holographic message of Optimus Prime, but, you know, when, you know, Bumblebee, like, he accidentally, like, electrocuted himself when he went inside the house, and, you know, that's where they picked up his signal, and that's where they located him. Yeah, but who cares, you know? And again, like, things that they point out, it doesn't really matter, because even in movies that are really good, like Bumblebee, you know? Yeah, and also, about Peter Cullen, because I mentioned about Peter Cullen and how, you know, it was unfortunate for him and his experience, you know, working on this movie and voicing Optimus Prime. The thing is that, and some of you may or may not know this, but when it came to, you know, Optimus Prime in the Bumblebee movie, they already had someone else come in and voice Optimus Prime, and yeah, that being John Bailey, you know, the Honest Trailers narrator. Not only has he done the Honest Trailer videos, but he's done a lot of other voice work, most notably being one of the voices of Optimus Prime, and yeah, apparently so that he had recorded for Optimus Prime. They already animated Optimus Prime, like the mouth movement and lip sync to John Bailey's recordings. But they, of course, eventually brought in Peter Cullen to record for Optimus Prime, and basically Peter had to impersonate John Bailey impersonating him. Were they that lazy to not go back and reanimate the lip sync and, you know, mouth movements to Peter Cullen's recordings? I don't know. I mean, what? Because of how much that would be to go back and reanimate that? I don't recall hearing anything about that, but still, you know, that's a good guess. But, you know, Peter Cullen went on saying that long shots with Optimus Prime, like shots where we're not close, like we're not up to his face or anything like that, yeah, he's fine with, but the close-up shots, you know, where we can clearly see his mouth moving, he's not fine with, because there are times where you can painfully tell, because of how Peter Cullen tried his best to lip sync to, you know, Optimus Prime's mouth moving, even though he throughout the entire film and with his appearance, he had the face covering, you know what I'm saying, like, you know, the shield around his mouth, you know, like this, you know. Yeah, because I don't think we never see his mouth, you know, his actual mouth, not until, say, well, Rise of the Beasts, as, you know, Rise of the Beasts, that takes place years after Bumblebee. Again, Bumblebee being a reboot to the Transformers, you know, like the movie industry for the Transformers, you know. And yeah, and like what the narrator of CinemaSins said, you know, and as again, because I went, you know, it's a reboot, like, because it is. So yeah, and so there's that on Peter Cullen, and you know, what the CinemaSins narrator said about Alf. I mean, who cares? Besides, Alf has his lovers, and he has his, I hate, you know, I don't want to use the term haters, but technically it's true. Those that are not fans of Alf, you know. I think my parents, they never were fans of Alf. For me, I don't hate Alf, but I respect Alf. I think Alf is okay. So, again, I'm not saying that I don't like the show or the character in general. Alf is fine with me. So, yeah, there's that. And yeah, and also like if you notice, like, the with Bumblebee and with Charlie and Memo, yeah, that's the boy's name who has an attraction and has a crush on Charlie because he works at the fair along with Charlie. Because like when they're being chased by the police and Bumblebee, he's driving fast. Well, they go through a tunnel. That's the same tunnel from two Robert Zemeckis films, Who Framed Roger Rabbit and Back to the Future. The tunnel from the tunnel that in Roger Rabbit, which being the Toontown tunnel, the tunnel that you go straight into Toontown, and in Back to the Future, the tunnel where Marty is hanging on to Biff's car trying to get the sports Alamac, yeah, hanging on his car, and they drive through the tunnel. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure it's appeared in other movies, but I can't really remember, but yeah. So, Roger Rabbit, Back to the Future, and this, Bumblebee. So yeah, pretty cool. Here's another thing, because, like, this movie does a really good job, like, bringing the emotion to it, and the funny moments, for sure. Funny moments with Charlie and Bumblebee together, the emotional moments, and what, like, we learn, as the film proceeds, we learn more about Charlie and, her dad who had died. I'm not sure if the movie ever established how... Did it? I forget, like, how her dad died. I can't remember. But, yeah, and as I said, like, her family, Charlie's family, just, like, they give her, like, a hard time, and yet she did nothing. Like, that's just wrong. And by the way, Charlie's mom is the same actress and, voice actress, I should say. She is the voice of Bobby? Yeah, Bobby from King of the Hill. Yeah, and I remember she did the voice of, from The Big Bang Theory, Howard and Bernadette's baby, sounding like Mrs. Wallowitz, Howard's mom. Oh, that was pretty funny. Not to mention, she actually voiced Mrs. Wallowitz in an episode of Young Sheldon that did air the same day that the very last episode of The Big Bang Theory end. Appropriate, for a young version of the cast of characters from The Big Bang Theory appearing in Young Sheldon, and, the whole thing about the Nobel Prize. So anyways. Yeah. Also, like, I gotta say, the cast in Bumblebee, fantastic, from Haley Steinfeld, John Cena, you name it. The two of them were really good in this film, and again, it was nice to see, because after Bumblebee saved John Cena's character, John Cena, his character realized that, Bumblebee is not really a bad robot/alien, he's good. And thus, yeah, him saluting Bumblebee, and come on, CinemaSins, like, what's wrong with that? Like, come on, because that was the moment. That was the moment for him, like letting him go and escape, and realizing that he's the good guy. You get my point. And the fact that the two Decepticons, they tricked the military into believing that Bumblebee was the threat. Which, that's the other way around. The Decepticons are the enemy. They're the threat. And the fact that the Decepticons were going to bring in the rest of the Decepticons to basically, I guess you could say, yeah, dominate Earth. And the fact that Bumblebee, his mission was to protect Earth until the rest of the Autobots, and, with Optimus Prime, they come in. And, of course, thus they do. And by the way, because another thing, one more thing, because, throughout the film, like, Charlie talking about, more about her and her dad, and they were, fixing up a car, and unfortunately, her dad died before they could finish it. But at the end of the movie, she finally repairs it, restores it, and thus she's driving the car. Yeah, and that was a good way to end the film, where we see her driving the car that, she finally finished, and, the car that, she started to, to help repair with her dad. Yeah, and make her father proud, of course. So, what a great way to end the film right there. And, oh yeah, and I just remember, because that blonde girl, who was bullying Charlie, and again, she went there mentioning Charlie about her dad, and jeez Louise, and yeah, she rightfully deserved it, where Bumblebee, like, basically, yeah, Charlie and Memo, they were, like, gonna, like, throw eggs on her car, and Bumblebee, what he did next, like, smashing and stomping on the car, ooh, that was good, and again, she rightfully so deserved it after she went too far. She went too far, with, what she said to Charlie. Yeah. And, and I had reacted to the Hizzy video, of how it should have ended, how Bumblebee should have ended. They did it pretty good as well. That was hilarious. Like, if I recall, yeah, Bumblebee, like, threw her or kicked her out into the ocean, the blonde girl. Oh, that was pretty funny. Of course, that wouldn't happen in the final, in the actual movie, but still, for how it should have ended doing that, it works, and it's funny, so you get my point. Yeah. But yeah, overall, the CinemaSins video, Everything Wrong with Bumblebee, again, I thought it was pretty good, funny. I, of course, did get some laughs. And what about you guys? What did you think of the video itself? What did you think of my reaction? Leave comments, and give this reaction video a like, as always. So, with all that being said, thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed my reaction to the CinemaSins video, Everything Wrong with Bumblebee, in 22 minutes or less, and with them putting that in the title of their videos, like how long they are, and, like, whether if it's like 19 or 22 minutes, you get my point. It's funny. Yeah. More reaction videos are on the way. They're going to be awesome. Keep looking forward, and I'll see you guys in the next video / reaction. Take care, and peace out. Autobots, roll out.